We begin with Kenya, where it was marred yesterday by isolated clashes and a boycott by the main opposition in Kenya's presidential election rerun, which was held yesterday. Thousands of police and other security staff had been deployed to protect voters and polling stations, which closed at 5 p.m. local time. However, violent clashes took place between opposition supporters and the police, with a 19-year-old boy reportedly hit by a stray bullet and later died at hospital. Meanwhile, Kenya's Electoral Commission has delayed voting in 4 counties in the west of the country until Saturday.
Alors, le bilan des violences.
An assessment on violent occurrences.
Wait, you take it.
Kenya's election body has postponed voting in 4 counties to Saturday, October 28, for reasons of insecurity in the said places. Chairman of the Independence Electoral and Boundaries Commission, Wafula Chebukati, in a press briefing, said voters in opposition counties of Migori, Siaya, Kisumu and Homa Bay will vote on Saturday in the presidential poll rerun ordered by the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, protests rage in several opposition strongholds where youth and police clashed for more than 2 days to disrupt the presidential election. One person was reported dead during the protests. We were not being violent. We just barricaded the road to prevent ballot boxes from getting to the polling center. We decided to protest because we didn't want voting to take place here. Then the police came and shot my brother. They were shooting live bullets into the crowd. The main opposition candidate Raila Odinga had urged his supporters to boycott the latest election, the second in less than 3 months, reflecting bitter divisions in the nation. Despite Odinga's call to boycott the elections, the exercise went smoothly in some parts of the country where the incumbent President Uhuru Kenyatta enjoys a massive support. Though the Kenyan election observers reported intimidation and harassment of voters and monitors in some parts of the country.
The indicators that we have so far, that where we are seeing people being intimidated in some parts of the country, already is not a very good thing in terms of transparency, inclusivity of the process. So those could speak to lack of a free atmosphere in which voters could be able to enfranchise themselves as far as voting is concerned. So that's a fear.
Kenya will now have to wait for the next action by the IBC concerning the already completed election, and furthermore the next move by the opposition leaders after the boycott.
An assessment on violent occurrences during Kenya's presidential election on Thursday, boycotted by the opposition, amounted to 3 deaths. At least 20 people were injured in the violence in the west of the country, in Kisumu and Homa Bay, including 10 women injured, some seriously wounded. An Olympic large voting center in Kibera clashes took place yesterday afternoon outside the enclosure between security forces and protesters, mainly in the largest slums of Nairobi, known as the stronghold of Raila Odinga. We'll be going to Kenya in the capital, Nairobi, more precisely to join David Makali, a political analyst.
David Makali, bonjour.
David Makali, hello. What difference does it? What's the difference from postponing the elections?
I think what the IBC is doing is what it is legally and constitutionally mandated to do, which is to avail an opportunity for every prospective voter to exercise their rights and cast a vote. I think the decision to repeat or rather postpone the election in those counties is prompted by their decision or a determination that the people there were not given an opportunity to vote, because as they reported, in most of those polling stations, the IBC people or officials never got to really deliver polling materials to the polling centers. In which case, then, for IBC to acquit itself of the charge that did not avail an opportunity for us to go to vote, they would probably have to comply with the law by postponing the election in those areas, so that perchance they get an opportunity to present that opportunity to the voters as they say on 28th. It is different from if, for example, they had opened the polling centers and people did not turn up to vote. But what has happened in those areas is that there was obstruction there was inability of IEBC to actually open some of those polling. So it's legitimate. But as to whether people will actually eventually turn out to vote is a different story. I guess they will get a repeat with the zero turnout or very small turnout, if at all it happens.
It is true, obviously, that every Kenyan has the right to vote, but it is also true that you can't force anyone to cast the ballot. And President Uhuru Kenyatta was even clear when he said those who don't wish to vote will not be forced. Do you think this is a maneuver to get people to vote?
That is one way of looking at it. And of course, the NASA side would look at this as an attempt to coerce the people to participate in an election that they have determined not to. So it's possible one can interpret it that way. But then if you go to the finer details, one wants to find out, did the election happen? And at what point did you say an election didn't happen? Did you open the polling station? No. Are you required to open the polling station? Yes. Why didn't you open the polling station? IEBC claimed they were obstructed, and of course, they've been seen barricading of roads and so forth by people who don't want an election held in the area because, well, they don't want it. But that does not stop the IEBC from trying and complying with the law, or at least opening the polling station. So there are two sides to it, but I would think that the right position would be that IEBC find that they were not able to open those polling stations. They were not able to take the materials to the polling centers, and therefore would want to have that opportunity again. I'm sure implications of this are great because then it means you'll have to use force and against any resistance to make sure that they take the materials to the polling centers.
Alors une dernière chose,
We've been following the conversation online. Vous avez réagi après le dernier particularly expressed dissatisfaction with the NASA announcement on the eve of the election. What are you expecting? What were you expecting?
I mean, if you look at the countdown to yesterday and the promise by the NASA leader Odinga that on 25th he's going to make an important announcement. Well, there was nothing, so to speak, earth-shaking in my estimation in what he said, except NASA was going to transform now into a resistance movement to make sure that democracy is achieved in this country. For example, if he said, we are not going to hold those elections, but we're going to obstruct the elections. Of course, he didn't say that. So that's why what I meant that there was nothing that was really dramatic about yesterday's announcement that we will not participate. And I think it was a good decision that the NASA leadership made to say that we will not participate, but we don't want to distract or demonstrate. Stay at home. And I think the boycott has worked, if you ask me, 90% in the areas.